Hello, friends. Good afternoon to everyone. And This is Prabhas from Excel for All. So today we are going to learn about the Microsoft Excel VBA basics. So VBA, this is quite known term to us, and we hear every now and then in our office environment. But being a non-programmer of Excel, how to use this Visual Basic for application, we are going to discuss a little bit glimpse of that. So first of all, being a Excel user, why we need to have our VBA? Because there are certain things Microsoft has created and vested in the backend of our Microsoft Excel interface, and that's called our VBA window. And to activate the VBA window, what you need to basically is you must have the developer tab in Excel. So this developer tab by default, it doesn't get activated. So one-time activity you must do going to over here, file, and if you go to options, and there we have an option called customize ribbon. And here we have got developer. So this option needs to be activated. The checkboxes remain in activate state. So you need to activate the same. So this is the option exactly you need to activate. And once you have the same over here, you need to click OK, and voila, you go. Your developer tab activated on the screen. Right. So now this is actually not a child's playground. This is only the experts who is actually going to deal with. And there are certain options being a user we must know is about our Visual Basic. So there's a shortcut key for all to implement. And if I go and click on this, this is what going to activate the backend of our backstage view of our Excel interface is called Microsoft Visual Basic Application Editor. And this is what the window basically, people, it is called macro window. And here there are certain things as a user we must know is each and every macro, there will be one project. Okay, so this is called VBA project, and this is called project window over here. And each and every project, they will be having a properties window. For certain times, what it happens, this window is not gets activated automatically. Sometimes you may get a screen like this. When you go for the macro options, you'll get the screen like this. So then our question is how to activate those windows of our Project Explorer and the properties. See, it's quite pretty easy. You can go for this toolbar. This is called our iconic toolbar options, which is there since our earlier stage of our Microsoft Excel versions as well. There's no much of improvement Microsoft has done in this window. And over here, there is an option called Project Explorer. The keyboard shortcut is Control R. You can activate through that also. So PVA project window will be activated. All right. Now, the coming to the properties window. So properties window, the next immediate icon is over here called properties, and we need to go and activate the same. And your properties is activated, and you can like little bit, you can resize the window. It's up to you. Depending upon the content, you can go and do that. So this is what our VBA window. We got a bit of knowledge about it. Now the question is over here, if I want to write a code, where to go? Each and every VBA macro coder is being stored in a module window. So each and every macro should have a module. So how the module window looks like, I'll take you through one example of our macro existing one. And you can see this is the kind of module window we have option. And if I go for navigation of the same and double click on module one, this is what the coding of macro window. So this is what we call it as our module. So you may have many more modules, more than one modules in a particular project. So there's no hard and fast rule. But yes, the more the modules, again, there might be a question whether my macro is going to act fast or it slow down the process. Of course, yes. So in that case, we always recommend if you're a beginner, you can create multiple modules. But yes, once you become the expert, try to create multiple set of codings in one module. All right. Now coming to our awareness about the macro coding. So being an Excel user, I don't have the ABC knowledge of this, suppose. Then what is this blue color is the terminology this is about? This is called our object library. And there in the black one, we have got the user strings. And something there in the green color, this is called our comments. This is not going to be executed at any point of time. This is just for the information. It has been stated over here. So this is how the coding has been classified. Of course, yes, to write such kind of coding, you must be a VBA expert that we know very well. So now the question is, Prabhas, what is this macro? We got some basic knowledge, but why is it required? Yes. So macro is something people, the task which is impossible in Excel, you can make it possible in Microsoft, our VBA editor, by creating the macros. But yes, you have to be a macro expert for that. All right. Now, what is the kind of task which is impossible in nature? Like, take an example. I'll go for this one option over here. Like, suppose, say, I have got some numbers in place, and my job is to convert the numbers into words. So, we do not have any existing formula or functions which will be helping us to convert our numbers into words. But yes, I have created a macro over here, naming called fig, and this is going to read my data, and this is going to convert the data thing. So wow, see the beauty. Without having a hassle or struggle, we could convert our entire numbers into text, and that is 100% proofreading also done. So how much time we could save over here, just imagine. Like this, there are different types of macros we do have. So this macro is called our add-in, UDF, user defined functions. So how will I know that a macro function is a user defined function or it is a worksheet function of our existing Excel? So to differentiate them, so any point of time when you write a formula in our Excel, this is called our Microsoft Excel functions. And it shows the instructions over here. You could notice this instructions is predefined, and this comes only with your Microsoft existing worksheet functions. Though we have got fx formula, the symbols, though it is a function, but this is a worksheet function. And whenever you happen to see such kind of functions, what I showed you recently is, though it shows me existing fx tag, and over here the entire sign is in blue color, but this is a user defined functions. Okay. Now the question is how to create such kind of functions. For that, you need to be a VBA expert. All right, so now this is all about the experts task we are discussing about. Now you can ask me a question, Prabhas, being a non-programmer of Excel, how will I use this macro options? Of course, as I told you, we need to be a expert in our run and record macro options. So run and record macro purpose, the developer tab needs to be activated. This is the primary thing, the developer tab to be activated. And we have done that, isn't it? Yes. Now, here there is an option over here called record macro. This record macro option will be helping us to record a set of instructions or the process, whatever we are designing, creating, or writing any formula functions, everything will be recorded in the macro memory. So let's go and explore this record macro. Now say take an example, I started one recording. This gives me a dialog box. So I can name anything as a macro name, not an issue. But remember, there are two rules you need to follow. A macro name cannot be a function name, and a macro name cannot be having more than one word having a space in place. If you want to retain more than one word, you should replace with a underscore. And whatever the details about the macro, you can write it in the description box. So it will be giving a kind of document for the user, and it gives a helping hand to understand what is this macro, what are the do's and don'ts, how to use this, and what is the takeaway from this macros. Everything can be documented in this place. Now I have started the recording, whatever it is over here. Now I want to do some colorings of anything or any kind of formatting, any kind of template designing, anything I want, I can create a recorded macro for that. So let me go and deal with first with a new worksheet. Say I go for my sheet 2, I have gone to developer tab, I have started the recording over here, and I clicked OK. Now, suppose I want to create some templates. Say this is my cost center. Okay, this is my report type. Over here, I will a little bit resize the window. And there I'll go for date. And here, I'll make it as user type. Yep. Now, once I do this, then I'll go for selecting the same and making it bold. All right, now I'll just do one thing. I'll make a merging of the cells and I'll name it as MIS statement for the period. Now this one, I'm going to make it with home tab, cell styles, and some kind of colorings. Well, now here below to that, suppose say I type it over here, created by and authorized by, something like that. Okay. And this one also I'll make it a little bit bold, right? And this one I'll make it a thick border. Thick border is all thick border. Okay, right. Now once I do this, my macro entire creation is done. But as I told you, when you have started something, we need to stop something that also. So going to developer, we go for stop recording. And once I go for the stop recording, my macro is stopped. Now, the entire process is recorded in the macro memory. So any point of time, if you happen to see where the macros are being stored, you can see in this developer tab once again, and there is an option called macros. So this is called your macros repository. So whatever the macros you create or recorded macro, it will be stored in this option. So I'll go for this. Now, can you see there is a macro one is on. Okay, so this is the place where it has been stored. Now, if I happen to see that where is the code and how the codes are looks like, I can simply go for developer, and again I go for Visual Basic. So I have gone for this, and here in this project window we have got that project, and there is a modules, it is created over here. In this modules, if I go for a navigate, double click on module 1, and immediately it will show the recorded instructions. So this is our recorded macro, or this is called your machine language. So this will be always be different from the user strings, or with the moment we become a macro experts and create our own coding, that will be definitely different from this. All right, so where is the recorded macro stored? We have got the access to that. That's fine. So now the question is, okay, Prabhas, this is what I have recorded. How to use this? Fine. You can do one thing. You can go to another sheet. Suppose say I want to just create the same template. How to call that macro? Simple thing. Again, you go to developer, go to our macros, and there you go for run macro. And when I go for this, can you see with immediate effect in sheet 3, we got the similar template ready over there. So this is called basically run and record macro. So anything you can record and anything you can run on a click of command or mouse click or call the command to the macros repository. Now, what if I want to record this macro, but I want to call through a command button or button like, well, I'll go for this also. So to create a command button, you can go to taking the insert, I'll go for the illustrations and I'll go for the shapes. I'll take a rectangular shape and I'll design this over here and I will dismiss, name it as run macro. So a little bit resize this, I'll be formatting this so that it will be more clear. Yeah. And I'll make it bold, little bit beautifications because since it looks like it should be look like a button. So I'll go for this shadings and some eye-catchy colors. Yeah, done. Now, the objective is when I go and click on this button, the same template should go and run and create. Okay, no problem. So what I'll do, I can simply select this button and I'll give you a right click on that. And here we have an option ready-made available naming called assign macro. Okay. So in this assign macro button, when I go for it and I check, again, it connects to my macro inventory. Yeah. I'll go for selection of the same and I'll go and click OK. And this is done. But to run this macro, I need to come out of this particular box and click outside somewhere. And now when I go and click on this button, wow, with immediate effect, it got the same template ready on our blink of our eyes. So this is how people we can keep creating the run and record macro options. We can connect to a buttons. There are many more things can be done with macro. It's a never ending process. There's always a beginning, but there's no end. So anything whichever is impossible in Excel, you can make it possible through our macros. All right. So I believe you like this video. Okay. So I'll go for this.